Alright, here's our last video for the night, probably. I'm going to talk about a program called Big Brothers Big Sisters, which I belonged to that when I was younger, probably from 5th grade to about 8th grade. I had a big sister, but then she moved to Connecticut, air quotes around big sister, because, she wasn't really my big sister. But let's see, this started probably about 5th grade. I don't know how it happened because, I had a great life, both my parents, big brothers, and friends, and families. I think it was because one of my classmates, who was actually one of the bullies, she told my counselor that, I was lonely, so I guess that's how it happened. And then they came to our house and interviewed me, and I got a big sister, but she was the greatest thing, in the world. I loved her like she was like my own sister, so it was pretty cool. And probably about the year I started with her, Cape Cod Times came to her and said, we want to do a story about Big Brothers Big Sisters. And we were the pairing that was featured in the paper, so that was very cool to kind of be featured in the paper just because of this program that I had no idea about. And my friend, she knew what Big Brothers Big Sisters was. So when I was in 5th grade, she would come over to the school after and hang out. And then when 6th grade is where she worked. The middle school that I went to was where she worked. So 6th grade, it was a lot easier to meet. And we hung out a lot during the school year and the summer. The cool thing was, we got to hang out in the summer, and she just didn't see me during the school year. I remember one day, this is, one of my most memorable times. I'll tell you about a few. Number one is I went over to her house to do homework, and she let me watch TV while I did my homework, and she knew I loved Full House. So I'm just sitting there doing my homework, and I was holding my pencil like this for 1 minute just to see my favorite part. Her dog steals the pencil straight out of my hand, and I was like, your dog kind of stole my pencil. And I was, freaking out because, I didn't want the dog to get sick or anything. And then another time we went to Friendly's, I think, and I think this was during the summer, and the waiter kept getting her order wrong. It was hilarious. It was hilarious and kind of, weird at the same time because, she had to send it back 4 times because it's not what she ordered. It was kind of funny. And then, about 8th grade, before I started 8th grade, she said she was moving to Connecticut. So, of course, I was a little sad, but, the last day we hung out was probably one of the best days. So what we did was, I don't really remember what we did for our last day, but all I remember is, one day I was in 8th grade, and I was really kind of sad because I had to go to study hall, and, we had a different class for study hall, and this happened to be a math day, and when we were in our math teacher's room, we had to do math. We couldn't do any other work like we usually are allowed to. So I was, really, sad, and I was planning to go to the nurse after. I was planning to go in and say, can I go to the nurse, please? Because, really. So I'm just walking down the hall, planning out what I'm going to say. All of a sudden, I see these 3 people in the hallway, and as I get closer, I see my big sister, and I was so happy to see her. And I got talking to her, and I got in trouble for being late, but it was so worth it. It was worth it. When I first met her, I wasn't really a big fan of her, but I said, I'm going to be with this girl for probably 8 years. I was probably 10 at the time. 8 years, so I better get used to her. And I only ended up being with her for 3 years. And because technically they're supposed to be with you till 18, but I didn't get that far. I was only 18 3 years ago, so last time I talked to her was the beginning of 9th grade in 2009, so it's been 6 years since I last talked to her, and I would love to get to contact her again. But if you guys are in Big Brothers Big Sisters, just know that it's kind of a blessing, you know, because if you have a life that was tougher than mine, you know, they're like your best friend typically, you know. Caitlin was kind of like my sister, basically. You know, I did have siblings. I have 2 older brothers who are awesome, but Caitlin was kind of like my sister, you know. Alright, so if you guys are wherever or are in Big Brothers Big Sisters, I'd love to hear what your experience is like. And I will talk to you guys later. Alright? Peace out.